Hello, I'm here for the reveal for our next sew along bag. And this is in the same way as we did with Halo. This is a first steps and step up bag. So there's a basic bag. Actually, it's a bit like Antiques Roadshow. There's best, better and bestest. I don't know how they do that. Worst, better and best. I don't know. Because you do have lots of options. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you initially the one that I made as my sort of sample bag to kind of figure out the pattern. It's not quite the way the pattern has ended up, but it's very similar. So I'll show you right from sort of, you can kind of watch the ecology or the evolution, shall we say, of how this bag came to being. What I will say with this one is the strap doesn't match because I've pinched the strap from somewhere else, because this was my kind of experimental bag. So without further ado, let me introduce you to the Bootylicious Bucket Bag. She's a little bucket bag. She appears actually quite big, so I'm looking at it on the video. She appears a relatively good size. She's approximately 7.5 inches from side to side. She's approximately 7.5 inches tall, and across the base at the bottom she's about 4 inches in the center, but she's got an oval base, so you can see it's wider at the bottom, wider in the middle than it is at the sides. So I've tried to keep this really simple. We have this one's all in faux leather because that's my preferred thing to work with when I'm kind of experimenting. So we have a faux leather body, we have faux leather accents, we have a faux leather base, we have a faux leather strap. Now you could do this, there are lots of options. So you can, if you're a new bag maker, you can make this entirely in fabric with the exception of this closure. You can make it in fabric in the main body with faux leather on the bottom, or cork, and on the accents and on the strap. This is the only piece, this flap closure, that has to be done in either faux leather or cork. So the rest of it can all be done in fabric. So what have we got? A little bucket bag. Let's open her up. And this one I've put a little catch on, but the first steps pattern has actually got a magnetic fastener. So you can kind of up it if you want to add an extra bit of bling on the front. She's very plain, so there's no zippers or anything else on the front, so, or on the back. So let's open her up. And what we've got, and you have to bear in mind that this is my sample one, so the inside is black, so you can't actually see a blooming thing when I open it. But what we have is two flaps that overlap each other, so they kind of sit one on top of the other, and you can't see a thing in there other than blackness because I just used some leftover black fabric from something else. So when I open her up, you can see that those flaps, they sit one on top of the other, and then the closure. And you can have those flaps going one way or the other. They'll fit either way. Inside is a zipper pocket and a little slip pocket. She's not a massive bag, so you're not going to be fitting loads and loads and loads in. But if you're one of these people that likes to travel fairly light, then this is the bag for you. But having the double flap means she's incredibly secure. There aren't any kind of gap. There's a tiny gap there, but there's not enough of a gap for anybody to get their hand in, or for the contents of your bag to fall out if you turn it upside down. So that's my original sample version. This was my kind of experimental one. She isn't quite perfect because I struggled to get the base the right size with this one, so I had to do the math again, and I decided that my accent panel at the bottom wasn't quite big enough, so on all future ones you'll see have a slightly bigger accent panel. So let's go from there to, let's show you a first steps as it's actually written in the pattern. So here we are. This one is first steps as she is in the pattern. Now, there are some options even within the first steps bag, in so much as you can use 1 inch hardware or 3/4 inch hardware. Because she's a small bag, I felt that she actually, a 1 inch strap, which this is, feels a little disproportionate. It almost feels a bit too thick. I don't like a very narrow strap because they cut into my shoulder, so I've put 1 inch straps on. But you can, if you prefer, then a 3/4 inch strap is absolutely no problem at all. So this one has the oval base, the faux leather connector strap, and the accent at the bottom, and she has a magnetic fastener on this one. Again, we have these two flaps that open at the top, and you can see there she's got a zipper pocket and a slip pocket inside, and as always a nicely fitted lining because we don't like baggy linings, do we? This one has a simple little strap connector with a D-ring and a swivel clip on the strap. The options are a 1-inch strap or a 3/4 inch strap with a slider, so you've got an adjustable strap, and she's just really simple. I love this one. I really love this fabric, though, I have to say. It looks like basket weave, but it isn't. It's just fabric. Clever, isn't it? So that's version 2. This one I upped my game a little bit. This one is First Steps, but she's been squashed underneath the others. But I added a fancy catch on it. So some of you will have seen this fabric when I was doing it, because as I was doing it, it looked like scary eyes looking at me. You can actually still see the eyes. It's now got a nose. It was a bit bizarre. So this one is exactly the same. You've got the faux leather accent, faux leather base, faux leather strap, but this one's just got a fancy schmancy lock on it. It's exactly the same, other than that inside. So we have a slip pocket and zipper pocket inside. Don't know that you can see that actually, but yes, there is. So if you wanted to add something like that, you could. If you wanted to add a twist lock or a thumb lock or something like that, just to brighten it up, because it is quite simple. I like the simplicity of it, and I'm not very good at doing simple. I struggle to stay simple. I tend to overcomplicate things. So that's a First Steps with a fancy lock. Then let's have a look at this one, because this one is the First Steps. Oh, it's caught around a wire. This one is a First Steps with a couple of changes, because this one, again, I've used faux leather for the accent. I've actually done the base in fabric, and I have strap connectors. These are from the Step Up pattern, so this is a slightly different strap connector. This has to be done in faux leather or cork, and you can see I've lengthened the strap closure, and I've inset some fabric to match this, so that's a slightly more decorative, I think you can see that, excuse me, slightly more decorative closure strap. Just used the magnetic fastener on it, and inside, this one's pale blue with got a bright pink zipper and a slip pocket underneath there. You can close these flaps either way. They fit just as well going front to back or back to front. And this one you can actually see better how the top is curved. I think it's just slightly shaped, so it's a proper cool bucket bag. Reminds me of old-fashioned hat boxes. I don't know where I've got that from. This one hasn't got an adjustable strap because I'm keeping this one, and I know where I like to wear my strap, and I don't see any point in wasting hardware on me, so it sits sort of fairly low on my hip. Now, I'm a big girl, as you can probably figure out, and although it's quite a small bag, it doesn't look disproportionate. It doesn't look too tiny. You can get a lot in this. Because she's got this 4-inch base, it's quite wide, quite deep. So that is First Steps with, this is an additional thing that you'll get in the sew along that won't be available outside of the sew along. And these are the Step Up, one of the Step Up strap connectors. There's 2 different strap connectors for Step Up. There's this one, and then there's the long one that we saw on the first version that I showed you. Now, Step Up. For those of you that like a challenge or want something different, or, you know, just don't like a plain bag, Step Up she's definitely not plain. She's a statement bag. She's exactly the same bag. However, we've added some embellishment. If you've done any of my patterns before, you'll know how much I love any kind of decorative technique. I'm a particular fan of weaving, and I've done lots of weaving and different techniques of weaving in my patterns before. I've never done this technique before, and I've never seen this technique before, so this is something completely different. And here we have the Bootylicious Bucket Bag Step Up, and that weave, I think you can see how that's glittery, that fabric, that weave stuff that I've used. Absolutely stunning. Now I've added a little tiny bit of the weaving to the closure as well. That isn't part of the sew along, it isn't part of the pattern. It's not difficult to do. Once you know how to do this bit, you'll be able to do that if you wanted to add that to your bag. This one has the long strap connectors, and this time I've used a rectangle rather than a D-ring because I ran out of D-rings. Again, I've used a 1-inch strap because I'm planning on keeping this because I love it. So you've got the oval base. She's exactly the same in every other way. I've added a different catch. She has the double flap on the top and a zipper pocket and slip pocket inside. So this is the Bootylicious Bucket Bag. She will be our next sew along. Let me just pick one of these up. And you have first steps and step up. It's exactly the same bag. I got that around the wrong way. No, I haven't. It's exactly the same bag, but you can make it your way. Now, if you're a new bag maker, you can make it almost exclusively in fabric, just using a little bit of faux leather for this. Everything else can be done in fabric. You can use fusible fleece, you can use headliner or scrim foam, or you can use the proprietary bag making foams. You can pick according to your skill level and according to what your machine can cope with. This can also be done all in faux leather or cork. You've got lots and lots and lots of options, and you need to kind of pick the level that you feel that you're comfortable with. If you join the sew along, you will have all of this. So you'll have the first steps and the step up, plus all the videos, plus the extra content that we always put into the sew alongs. And lots of hints and tips and giggles along the way, and prizes and a competition and all the other things that we always do in the sew along. So yeah, that's the Bootylicious Bucket Bag. I think she's just gorgeous. I've got so many bags. What am I going to do with all these bags? I have got another one of these, but it's not finished yet because I'm using it to shoot videos. So you'll have to wait and see that. Another one with the weaving, that is. And the weaving looks just as good done in cork as it does in faux leather. One of my lovely testers has done a cork version, and it just looks outstanding. So, you know, have a go. It's not as difficult as it might at first appear. What do you think? Cool, isn't it? So having now released this video, I'll set up a group. I'll figure out a start date because I haven't even got as far as thinking about when we might start this. It'll probably be about a month away, which gives everybody a chance to join. I'll put the list of supplies and any information that I can with regard to what you might need and where you might be able to get it from. Certainly UK based anyway, because I'm UK based, in the group. And you can go shopping if you need to, ask any questions that you need to, and just kind of hunker down and wait for the sew along to begin. We'll do the sew along the way as we always do, in so much as we do it over about 3 or 4 days, and it depends how many videos I've got and how long. I always say I'm going to do it in 3 or 4 days, but sometimes there isn't an obvious place to stop and it seems to be flowing really easily, so we do it a little less time, and sometimes it needs to take a little more time. So we do it over several days. It's not done all in one go. You don't have to sew with me. You can, once you're in the group, you'll have the videos, and you'll have the videos forever. They form part of the pattern. You will have both first steps and step up. Step up will not, and step up includes the weave pattern and weave templates and instructions on how to do the weaving. It includes instructions on and templates for how to do both of the step up strap connectors. But it's a supplement to go alongside first steps. It's not a pattern on its own. You don't, you know, it's just something to sit alongside the original pattern. It will not be sold alone. So if you want the weave design, then you have to buy, you'll have to join the sew along, and you'll get both of the patterns, or wait until it's released generally, and then you'll be able to buy for the whole package. You will not be able to buy step up on its own. So you won't be able to just get the weave design. You have to have the whole bag. I'm sorry. So I'll set it all up, and I'll post this in my sew along group, and then I'll stick it on YouTube, and come and join us. Come and join us. Bags by Bags of Style Pattern and Sew Along group. And if you go there, then you can go find the links to the Sew Along waiting room. And all the details will be there. The ladies in the Sew Along waiting room will get 24 hours head start to join. We only take 200 people max into the Sew Along, so if you want to join early, because they do get busy. Once we get to 200, there'll be no more entry, so that's literally it. And the pattern won't be released on my Etsy shop until after the Sew Along is finished. What do we do in a Sew Along? We have competition, we have prizes. It's just fab. It's like going on retreat and not leaving your house. It's like going on a retreat in your pajamas. You just wander into your sewing room and get on with it. It's all done by video. Videos are loaded to YouTube, so you can watch them on YouTube. You don't need to worry about saving them or anything like that. You can just I'll give you a list with all of the links to all of the YouTube videos once they've all been shown. So you can sew with me or you can sew later. There's no, the videos won't disappear. You'll have it forever. It's yours. You're not actually paying for the videos. You're only paying for the patterns. You're not paying for the competition, for the prizes, for the Sew Along itself, for the whole being part of something like that. You're only paying for the pattern. And if you join the Sew Along, you'll be paying for the pattern cheaper than you will when it goes onto Etsy. So it's a no-brainer, really, isn't it? So I hope you're as excited as I am about the Bootylicious Bucket Bag, and I am a bit excited about this one because that weaving is just super. And I know it looks complicated, but it really isn't. It's really a lot easier than you think it is. So those of you that have done weaving before, sharpen up your craft knives. Those of you who haven't done weaving before, get yourself a craft knife and some nice new blades. It doesn't take long to do. It does take a while to do, but it doesn't take ages to do, and I think the finished effect is so worth it. So there we go, the Bootylicious Bucket Bag.